Welcome back to part 2 of our interview with Adolf Hitler. If you didn't watch it yet, please watch part 1 because I also give the background on Adolf Hitler if you don't know who he is, which is unlikely. And thank you, Ginger Bailey, whose information is going to be in the description box and on the screen. And thank you, Adolf, for staying. And thank you, my lovely son, Erik, for helping out here.
Because I love you, Mama. I love you, Mama. I love you, Mama.
Oh.
He's so
I miss
cute.
that boy. All right, so here are the questions from the community. We'll continue with this. In your own personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions, from your point of view, have we learned anything from World War II besides what's being taught in schools all over Europe and here in the U.S.?
Have we learned anything besides what's being taught? So there are some things. There are some things that we learn outside of school, as in he's talking about it just individual experience that you have.
Yeah.
And are they asking, Lisa, have we learned things that haven't been written in books or
Yeah,
something?
right.
Okay.
I probably like any spiritual lessons from this.
Okay. So he says he's talking about, hold on a second here.
I'm going to mute. The garbage truck is coming, so I'm going to mute just in case.
Okay. He's talking about racism. He's bringing up racism. He says that we've learned a lot that's not written in the books with racism. And not that we're there yet. But we have learned things that aren't taught in the books, and there were some things that were taught outside of the books in the school, he says, that weren't quite right. They were exaggerated. Not about the Holocaust per se, but about the people that were killed. Like only blonde hair, blue eyes, could live, and everyone else was killed. He says that's not what it was. It was more of the German ancestry, and the Nordic like race. He thought was pure. Now, some of that was taught, but he says it got exaggerated in a way of just going to blonde hair, blue eyes, but that was an exaggeration.
Okay.
And they were kind of the face of a pure person, but it wasn't. I mean, you could have brown hair and green eyes and not be considered somebody who wasn't pure. There were also people that he said, I don't know why he's going here, but he's talking about, there were people that were judged like if they had an illness, like a handicap, which, or a physical challenge, or rotten teeth, even, he says, they were pushed away from being part of the group, right? So yeah, so those are some of the things.
Okay.
Yeah.
When the U.S. Olympic team was in Germany, consisting of African Americans, right? You praised them. Was that your way of sending a message to America due to how African Americans were treated at the time? I don't understand that. I don't know. Why did you praise them when you were like all for the Aryan race? Nose itches.
So this was he's talking about for show. He's doing like, this is for show to look like, what do you call that when somebody's like just acting like for the public or whatever? Like it wasn't like he was doing that because it was like, oh, he did think that they were okay, like he didn't have something against them, he's saying, but the praising of that was more for the public, I guess is how he's talking about it. Does that make sense?
Athletic ability, was that what?
Yeah, athletic abilities, and and also just for the public, like trying to say, like, almost like behind the closed doors you say one thing, but out in public you say another. That kind of thing. Yeah. It was almost like for the public, to hear him say that, I guess is how he's putting it, if that makes sense.
All optics. How did your
Yeah.
government come with such advancements in aeronautics and other devices so quickly? And were you influenced by non-benevolent beings at the time?
He's splitting that answer up, and he's saying, first of all, the evil spirits, I guess, non-benevolent. He's saying he was not guided by them. There were some times in times of his life that were attached to him, did not cause him to do the things he did, but they fed on his energy. There were also earthbound spirits that, lower energy that fed on that energy. And then the other part of it, he's saying, is the advancements. He says there was alien technology that they had. There were things that they, yeah. Oh, he said also he stole some of it.
Oh, from?
Spies would steal it from other countries.
Oh, okay, all right. What are your thoughts on the Palestinian Gaza War?
I thought, didn't we talk? Was this a question earlier? Yeah. Because he's saying kind of the same thing, that it's both sides. But it's not okay. So what he does want to say, though, that doesn't make it okay for people to hurt each other. Yeah. Okay. But what he's saying is that, remember, there is a reason. It's always for change. Always for change. Always, yeah. Like the change that came after World War II. There were many things that happened, so it changed.
Well, I was kind of surprised. October 7th was terrible, right? I mean, babies being burned alive and beheaded, women raped in front of their children, all that, and hostages taken. And yet there's so much anti-Semitism now because of that, and pro-Hamas. It's like they're not even thinking that October 7th even happened. They're denying it, those who are. So what is going on with this rise in anti-Semitism? I mean, they're acting like it's worse. The Jews are worse than the ones who beheaded children and stuff and burned them alive and stuff.
So there's been atrocities, is what Erik is saying, done on both sides. He's saying, but when denial comes into things, it's because that's not what they're trying to get their point across, and that's not part of their point, kind of thing. In that kind of way. Yeah. So, and again, from a spiritual point of view, there's many things that you learn, many things as an individual and as a community that you learn, with these things.
Of course. So. All right. Here's kind of a sad one. Why on earth did you feel that any person truly loved you? And do you think your mama would have been proud of you? Gulp. Oh my gosh.
In his mind, he thought he was doing, right? He thought he was doing like, I'm doing the good for the country. Of course, he's saying that it got, of course, out of hand. He's saying that from a spiritual point of view now. Yeah. That it did kind of, it got to a point where his ego just blew up. Yeah. You
were so adored by your minions.
Right. And he had like, just that power feed into him. But he's saying that he did feel loved by his mom, but that ended early in life. I guess she died early in his life. And things kind of changed after that. That's some of the turning points in his life. He was a teenager, I guess he's saying, and things kind of changed in his life. That was only when he felt like loved him. I feel like what he's saying is he's showing me too very abusive childhood. He was abused like by his parent, like his dad. And if he was here and you asked him that question, he would have said no. He wouldn't think his mom would be proud of him towards the end. Not because it was like, oh, what did I do? Oh my gosh! But because there were things that he wasn't proud of in himself, of certain choices and decisions he made, but not to the extent that you would hope.
Okay. Did you have any kids? It's been said that you fathered a son secretly by the name of Jean-Marie Laurette with a very young girl. Is that true?
He's saying that he has a daughter. He had a daughter.
Okay.
I see an H or a D in the name.
Okay.
And
But no sons.
no.
Okay.
No.
Interesting. Did you have a lot of karma to work off once you reincarnated? Well, have you reincarnated?
He's not reincarnated, is what I'm hearing.
Do you have a lot of karma to work off, like so many of us do?
Some of this was planned ahead of time for like, well, you know, we always do that, but he's saying this was something a little higher up, as in decided and planned. So not so much karma like you would think. There's certain things he did in life, of course, like all of us, choices and decisions we make on a personal
level. This was a sacrifice you made to help the collective.
Something that we had to do. Yeah, that he had to do. Now he says he's seen you know, what he was going to get from this as a human being, you know, and society, you know, as a whole. So you know what he is saying? I don't know if this is going to be one of the questions, but he's talking about after he died, Elisa, that he was like, I've seen this before when even people that talk about near-death experiences where they go in like this healing darkness kind of thing. And he's showing me that
like
that's
Erik,
where
he did. Erik did.
Erik
did. Also.
He did too. And he's saying, and it was, I mean, there's no time here, but it was like a year or more that, you know, if you had to give an earth time to it, that he was there for the healing time. Yeah.
When you first crossed over and sort of lost your humanness and reflected back on what you did, what did you think? Or was it instantly known that, oh, I did this to help the collective?
No, he was in the healing state immediately after he died. He's saying he went immediately to that place. But he does show in a life review, he did have a life review, he's saying. So he does show that now it's not similar to all of our life reviews because of part of it being for the collective and for humanity. But he does show that he did have one. And he, you know, he's saying you don't do that. You don't judge yourself. You don't look at it and go, oh my gosh, what did I do? You know, and do that because
there's no right or wrong. They're all experiences.
Yeah. He's saying it's just an experience. And more of the experiences he learned was about his personal self and the way he thought and dealt with things. So.
So what made you choose? I mean, did you have a choice to play Hitler? I mean, I'll take one for the team.
He did. He did.
Wow. And
he did have a choice.
Why did you bite the bullet, so to speak, and do that?
So he's saying that it changed for the better. He's saying, let's see. Learning, what are you saying? Learning what not to do. Learning what not to do in the rights of an individual. He's saying that it is something about the what not to do. All right, for some leaders to learn that over time, even though his was supposed to be, you know, because you can have an argument with that of, well, if it's not what you're supposed to do, why'd you do it? But he's saying that you still learn these things. You learn like where to take war and how to make it, you know, not about, you know, the public. He's saying pretty much, you know, it's not about that. It's about other, you know, keep it with the military, things like that. He's also saying that he's showing me that he's seen the change ahead of what this was going to do. And that's why he chose to do it. Because he's seen all the changes that were coming because of this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, can you speak to your choice of Poland for Auschwitz and other concentration camps? Why Poland? I think that's the place you invaded, and that was the beginning of World War, according to the back story.
So he's talking about them being. So he's saying that this is coming from a spiritual point of view again, but it doesn't sound very nice. He's talking about people and being like lower, not as gosh dang it, I hate when I lose words.
Educated?
Yeah, well, that not educated, but also
No.
not like not worthy. You know, the
Oh.
races, certain races were
Oh,
less
okay.
of. Okay, thank you, Eric. He goes less
Okay.
than.
All right.
So he says that he felt that way about Polish people too. And were there Jewish people in Poland, because he's
I'm
talking about
sure.
some Jewish people in Poland
Yeah.
too. And let's see. Yeah, he's talking about things that resources that they had
Okay.
in the country too, that he
Oh,
wanted, and he felt like it was going to be easier to go into that country, and that was his direct. It's almost like he's showing me it's his direction. It was a direction
okay.
he had, and that
Oh,
was one of his next steps, was that direction.
okay.
But it did have to do with the people there too. He didn't have very high regard for them at all.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. What information or secrets, if any, were destroyed when Birkenau was burned that we should know about?
He's saying the proof of what was done there. Okay, so he's showing me that people were used as like guinea pigs. They tested on them. They did medical testing on them.
Yeah.
And you know, there was torture, there was cruelty. And he says a lot of this stuff was documented of what they did, and those were the documents that they destroyed, was
Oh,
a
okay.
proof of what they
Oh,
did.
wow.
Because a lot of stuff what he did, and this is another thing, it's a crime in war, you know, and
War
some of
crimes for
it's a
sure.
crime, yeah, war crimes. So and more of this became war crimes that weren't war crimes because of him. So that's something else that came out of it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you had not committed suicide, how do you think you would have died? I mean, I'm sure you've seen different timelines.
He thinks he would have been killed,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
murdered.
In prison or in battle or on the,
battle
yeah.
battle Yeah.
Okay, so this is about the Mandela effect. I'm going to skip a few questions because it's interesting also. Just caught my eye. And it's about eyes. Many of us were taught and remember you having brown eyes, but now you have, now you have always had blue eyes, it's indicated. What color eyes did you have? And is there a reality where you really did have brown eyes? So what do you have, blue or brown?
Blue. He's saying blue. Actually,
Okay.
I can see them. They are like a very pale, like a pale blue.
Okay.
He's saying blue. The Mandela effect. Now, this is something
Is there a
that,
timeline that you
yeah, he's
that
saying that it
when?
wasn't changed. It wasn't
Okay.
changed, but there are things like rumors that get started, and then people start to see certain things. Plus, there's pictures that look like he has brown eyes. He says,
Okay.
if you look at some pictures,
Yeah.
but it was just it was just something that like started, and people thought, and then just didn't know
Okay.
the truth of it. But yeah.
All right. Did the U.S. help supply Germany in secret during the war, like with jet fuel, ball bearings, etc., before we entered the war?
Eric says yes. Eric answered that
Oh.
one.
Yeah, I think who was was it FDR? I can't remember. I don't know why I can't remember. It's terrible. But
What?
he didn't like. Yeah, I think it was FDR that was very anti-Semitic. And Coco Chanel, a lot of powerful people in the U.S. And then I think that's part of why. Is it part of why FDR dragged his feet on entering the war, World War II? Is because go ahead, kill all those Jews. I mean, I think he was really racist.
Well, that's a little bit, yes. Eric's saying yes to this a little bit, but a lot of it was trying to prevent being in the middle of this, trying to be
Yeah.
part, stay out of the big picture of it, because they were part. I have to tell you, Hitler goes, they were part of it. There were people part of it from our country, but not in the big picture.
Okay.
He says, yeah.
So why did they help you out with jet fuel and ball bearings, etc.? Just make money, or because they wanted you to?
Money. He said money. Yep.
Was your rise to power and initiation into World War II funded by powerful people in Europe?
The war? Is that?
Yeah, the war effort.
Okay.
Or your rise to power, basically, and the initiation of World War II.
He said yes. Some. Yes.
Anybody that we would know?
No, he's just showing like people that were wealthy within his group, like his not really it's kind of a social group, but just like, you know what I mean? It's nobody like high that we would know, like a king leader of somebody. Yeah.
What do you think of the third Antichrist? I don't even know what that is. I guess
So Erik, I keep distracting myself by saying the word so. It's like I'm trying to like break that habit, and so every time I say it, I distract myself.
I didn't even notice.
But anyway, Erik is telling me, I kind of know what they mean by this. I'm getting what they mean by this. Erik. This is coming from Erik. Erik is saying that the Antichrist is not an individual. It is a
force, dark.
Yeah,
force.
it's more like a not an individual, but like I just want to say an energy. There's an energy around
dark energy.
It's kind of dark. Yeah, dark energy. But it's not like this is a biblical belief. Erik says that there's going to be an Antichrist that comes and walks the earth. But Erik is saying that's not so.
Okay. So what do you think about the third dark energy force, Hitler or Erik and Erik?
Hitler's saying that this is part, and Erik's agreeing, that this is just part of the spectrum. This is part of having both sides, you know, the duality. It's part of how things work, is what Hitler just said.
Even evil is still part of light, because everything is light. It's just very dim.
Right.
Is there any world leader on Earth that you feel bears similarities to you, Hitler, at the present time on Earth? And Erik, you can chime in if you want to, of course.
Who's the leader of that leader he's talking about of come on, Ginger, get it
Syria,
right.
Maybe?
No, south, north and south, Korea.
Oh, North Korea. Okay. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's pointing him out.
Kim Jong-il or Un or whatever, I can't remember. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think would have happened had Nazi Germany won World War II? Would the Western civilization end, or would it go beyond that? What would have happened? Erik, you might see that timeline also.
Yeah. Let's see here. This is a big one. He's showing like it would have been a lot. It wouldn't have lasted, is what Hitler said. And Erik said, no, it wouldn't have lasted. It would have been taken down eventually. It would not have lasted. It wasn't meant to be, so it wouldn't last, is what I'm hearing. But you know, it would have not been. There would have been a lot of people losing their freedom to things.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, one more, and then we will break, and we'll have part 3 at another time.
Okay.
What were your perspective? What is your no, it's kind of grammatically incorrect. What were his perspective about people from East Asia, like the Chinese? So, what did you think as a human Hitler about the Easterners, the Asians?
He's talking to, you know, he didn't think highly of a lot of people that weren't German, he's saying. He didn't think high of people unless they were like more the northern, you know, not even just Germany, but he's talking about like all the northern like
What?
Dutch
Scandinavian?
and yeah, Scandinavians, all that was what he thought was more of a purity,
Oh, I
right?
gotcha.
In his mind. He says that he doesn't even really know where that started because I asked him that just now.
Okay.
Yeah, where did that ideal of yours start? Where did that come
Yeah.
from?
Huh.
But he's saying it wasn't something like he was raised to believe or anything, but he's saying that it he just felt that this is what it should be. You know, it was his belief in what it should be, as in staying pure
Yeah.
and crossing, um, uh, well, why can't I think of any words?
No,
Crossing
you
like
did.
ethnicities, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
crossing different people's ethnicity. But about that, he's saying one thing he does say when he was here as Hitler, that he thought that there was too many, like their country, like he did like he says he did like the way that they controlled their
Oh,
people.
the people.
Like
Oh boy. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
they had control over the people. But he said that there were certain things about the country that he just didn't agree with. He's not really naming something. It's just more like he keeps talking about population. I don't know why, like a
Is it,
lot
do
of
you feel like there's too
population.
many of them?
Yeah, like there should have been a population control of some kind. Remember, this is not me, guys. This is
No, I
Hitler.
know, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. I mean, I know
Yeah,
you
we
know.
know.
Letting people know. This is not my opinion. Um,
But what do you think
so
about the Chinese now?
he says every single person on this planet has a role to play, and he thinks that
Exactly.
everybody needs to be here. Yeah.
I agree. All right. One more question. It's not on here, but about your daughter. Did you did you raise her? Did you have anything to do with her, or what? Did you help support her? And is she
He
alive
did.
now?
No, no, she's not. He's showing me, okay, so he's showing me that he did support her financially. He wasn't a big part of her life because of
Busy.
his life. Yeah, busy. And he shows me though that after he died, that they tried to come after her. Like people tried
Oh,
to come after her. She had to
wow.
escape.
What did she die? How old was she
And
when she died? And
she lived to an old age. He's saying
okay.
she had children and everything. So
Oh,
he had
okay.
grandchildren. So he has people, a couple. He's showing me two males that still live in this
Wow.
world that are his descendants.
Wow.
And he says that
Do they know that?
he moved to Australia. He's showing me Australia. Like she fled
Oh. Oh,
and she
okay.
got to live a normal life and everything after that. But she
Good.
was like he kind of says like hunted in a way, but they were looking for her,
Yeah.
trying,
So did
yeah.
she know? I guess it did take your daughter to work day didn't
Yeah,
work
no,
out.
there wasn't that didn't work out too well. But
But
yeah,
she
she
knew?
knew.
Oh wow.
She knew things he was doing. What he's saying is now all of a sudden there's a lady standing next to him. So
Oh,
I
the
this is
daughter?
her. Yeah. And she's saying that she eventually it was a secret for a very long time in
Yeah.
her life of who she was. Yeah.
It,
And
it
then
was kept a
eventually
secret from her, or
no,
she kept it a
no,
secret?
she kept it a secret.
Oh,
She
no
did.
wonder. Did
Who
you
she
agree with
was.
what he did, or were you like appalled or
She
somewhere
said
in
no.
between?
She said no. She did not. She did
All
not.
right, that's it. Hitler or Adolf, daughter, whatever your name is, Eric, Jenner. Y'all have anything else to say before we wrap it up? Before we close?
He's just saying thank you. Thank you, Lisa, for letting him have a voice and for doing this. And he's thanking you for all that you do for people,
Oh,
and
thank
all that
you.
you help. Yeah, he's thanking you. And Eric doesn't have any questions, he said. He just loves you. I love you,
Love you
Mom.
more.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
thank you, Ginger. You guys check her out, please. Ginger Bailey, information down below. And yeah, hit the notification bell so you don't miss part 3. That's going to be our last part. And yeah, please hit the like button because it helps algorithms. And subscribe if you haven't already. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Go plug in those
Bye.
earbuds.
Yeah, are you just gonna stop?
Yeah,
Just stop. Yeah, just stop. Okay.
in.